嘘だろ。
Speaking of Resident Evil, aside from the hordes of zombies and those outstanding protagonists, the most famous is probably the Umbrella Corporation. Regarding the establishment of this source of all evil, it can actually be explained in just a few sentences. So, back in 1960, Edward Ashford, the sixth head of the Ashford family, and the young nobleman Oswell E. Spencer, in a chrysanthemum plant in Africa called the Stairway of the Sun, discovered an ancient virus. This virus could grant the human body even greater vitality. They named it the progenitor virus. Later, the two of them joined forces with Dr. James Marcus, a biologist, to research the virus together. In order to better proceed with the research and conceal its true purpose, the three of them jointly founded the large multinational pharmaceutical enterprise, the Umbrella Corporation, in 1968. On the surface, this company was an ordinary pharmaceutical enterprise, but behind the scenes, it secretly engaged in the development of viruses and bioorganic weapons, BOWs. In 1971, one of the three founders, Edward Ashford, unfortunately passed away due to a virus infection. In the years that followed, Umbrella began secretly building research facilities around the world. At the same time, James Marcus took charge of the training facility in the Arklay Mountains. Two important characters in the game, Albert Wesker and William Birkin, became Marcus's prized students at this time. On September 19, 1977, research on the new virus achieved a major breakthrough. After combining the progenitor virus with leech DNA, Marcus obtained the first mutant virus in Resident Evil history, T-virus. To better study the properties of the T-virus, Marcus inevitably turned to human experimentation, and all of this was under Spencer's secret surveillance. In order to seize control of the company, Spencer exposed Marcus's crimes at a board meeting. Due to the extreme severity of his actions, Marcus was immediately removed from his position. However, Marcus, who lost his job, did not lose his dream. He returned to the training facility and started research on a new project, the Leech Queen. Just as the research was about to yield results, Spencer ordered him to share the T-virus, but Marcus refused. Thus, Spencer decided to kill him. On June 3, 1968, Spencer, believing the time was ripe, sent a special forces team to shoot and kill Marcus while he was conducting experiments. Leading the team were Marcus's two filial disciples, Wesker and William. Just as Marcus was about to die, the Leech Queen entered his body. Afterwards, his body was thrown into the sewer. Over the next few years, the powerful regenerative ability of the T-virus within the Leech Queen revived Marcus. Due to the hermaphroditic nature of leeches, Marcus transformed into this androgynous form. After reviving, Marcus began to recall the past. Spencer had reported him to the board of directors. Then, shamelessly, he wanted to share the T-virus with him. When he refused, Spencer even sent his two beloved disciples to kill him. The more Marcus thought about it, grew angrier and angrier, and so, he decided to use the powers granted by the T-virus to destroy Umbrella. Then, he quietly released the virus. Soon, the virus infected the beasts in the mountains. This is the reason why there have been many strange murder cases in the Arklay Mountains, and the bodies were covered in bite marks. The year is 1998. An express train sponsored by Umbrella travels from Raccoon City to the Arklay Mountains. On board are a group of company investigators. They were sent to the long-closed training facility to collect Marcus's belongings and restart the related experiments. Just then, Marcus, returned from the dead, began his plan for revenge from a distant mountain peak. Accompanied by a beautiful song, a horde of mutated leeches attacked the train. All the investigators on board bit the dust. This is the Ecliptic Express incident in Resident Evil. 2 hours later, Bravo team of the Raccoon City Police Department's elite STARS unit arrives in the Arklay Mountains to investigate the aforementioned bizarre murders. Our heroine, Rebecca, makes her official debut. Suddenly, the helicopter's engine fails, forcing a crash landing in the forest. The team has no choice but to disembark and start exploring. The legendary thumb makes its debut. Check out this thumb. Remind you of that like button you haven't hit yet? Not far ahead, they discover a crashed vehicle. The soldiers inside met a gruesome end. After some searching, Rebecca finds a prisoner transfer order in a case. It reads, Former Lieutenant Billy Cohen, sentenced to death by court-martial. These dead soldiers were transporting Billy to the Caucasus base for execution, but Billy's body was nowhere to be found among the dead. Naturally, Rebecca and the team assume he's the one who killed these soldiers. So, Captain Enrico orders the team to split up and search for the fugitive. No idea why they had to investigate at night, or why Rebecca, a medic, had to split off from the others. Forget logic, let's just play the game. Sure enough, Rebecca conveniently finds the train where the game's opening incident occurs. Once on board, she's shocked to discover everyone inside has died and mutated into terrifying zombies. Relying on her professional combat skills and fearless bravery, she opens fire and takes down the monsters while she's scavenging from the conductor's corpse. A man points a gun at her from behind. Rebecca turns around and is shocked to find that this man is the murderer Billy Cohen. Seeing that Rebecca isn't a zombie, Billy holsters his gun and prepares to leave. Not wanting to miss the opportunity, Rebecca rushes forward to arrest Billy. At that moment, her teammate Edward somersaults through the window. Rebecca hurriedly goes to check on him. Edward is covered in wounds, with bite marks all over. With his last breath, he warns Rebecca, the forest is full of monsters. After saying that, he meets his end. Then, Captain Enrico tells Rebecca over the radio, Billy Cohen has killed 23 innocent civilians. He's a complete psychopath. Rebecca must stay on high alert. Next, Rebecca heads to the back of the train. Here, she encounters Billy again. Billy proposes they work together to survive, but Rebecca says, I'd rather be eaten by monsters than cooperate with a psychopath like you. Then she goes to the train dining car alone. Here, Rebecca encounters what might be Luffy, who accidentally ate a leech fruit. At the critical moment, Billy arrives just in time to save her. Are you okay? Look at this thumb. At that moment, Marcus in the distance starts chanting again. Then, the train actually starts moving. To figure out what's going on, and since Billy just saved her, Rebecca decides to set aside her prejudices for now and cooperate with Billy. They head to the control room together to see who's operating the train. Fine. Ahead at the control room, the two find that two soldiers from Umbrella Corporation's Delta team have boarded the train and are reporting the situation to Wesker and William, claiming they've taken control of the train. But William at the Research Institute doesn't understand why the T-virus leaked, or why it contaminated both the mansion, the main setting of the first game, and a train 3 miles away. Wesker is very nervous at this point. He doesn't want news of the virus leak to get out, so he orders the train to be destroyed. However, a large swarm of leeches suddenly attacks, killing the two soldiers. Witnessing the leeches going in and out of the two soldiers, Billy and Rebecca are freaking out. The two go to the cockpit and are surprised to find the train is actually driverless. If they don't brake quickly, the train will derail and crash. After looking at the brake operation manual, the two fall into silence. What idiot designed this brake system? No wonder it crashes in emergencies. But, as protagonists, they calm down. After a series of maneuvers with one at the front and the other at the back of the train, the two manage to stop the train without major incident. The crash site was directly beneath the Cadre Training Institute. Following the sewer, the two made their way up into the Cadre Training Institute. The first thing they saw was a huge, 100-inch portrait of the director, Marcus. Meanwhile, Wesker and William were observing their actions via surveillance cameras. Suddenly, Marcus appeared on the monitor. He then admitted that he was the one who released the virus, infecting the mansion and the train. He wants revenge on the Umbrella Corporation. Then, Marcus used leeches to recreate the scene of his own murder and press the two. Did they have any part in his murder 10 years ago? Wesker and William, the masterminds behind the whole incident, were now sweating bullets. Soon after, William prepared to activate the facility's self-destruct system. Wesker, on the other hand, left the area and returned to the STARS Alpha team, where he had been undercover for years. He intended to lure the team members to the mansion to obtain combat data on the bioweapons. The plot of the first game. Back to Rebecca and Billy. After solving a series of puzzles, the two opened a secret passage behind Marcus's portrait and went inside. Suddenly, Rebecca was attacked by a mutated baboon. At the critical moment, Billy arrived just in time to save her. After going through all this, Rebecca felt more and more that Billy was reliable. He couldn't be a murderer. Under her persistent questioning, Billy told the truth. Billy was once a Marine Corps first lieutenant. His unit was sent to Africa to intervene in a civil war. During one mission, his squad was sent to a remote location to eliminate guerrilla forces there. Along the way, his comrades were either killed or wounded. By the time they reached the destination, only 4 people remained, including the squad leader and Billy. To make matters worse, the intel they received was wrong. There were no guerrilla forces here, just an ordinary small village, but the squad leader didn't want to return empty-handed. He ordered the killing of innocent civilians. Billy tried to stop him, but the squad leader, who had lost his mind, wouldn't listen and knocked Billy out. Then, he conspired with the other 2 soldiers and framed Billy for the murder of 23 innocent civilians, so Billy was sentenced to death by a military tribunal. On the way to the execution ground, the transport vehicle passed through the Arklay Mountains and was attacked by monsters. All the soldiers on the vehicle were killed, and only Billy managed to escape. From beginning to end, he never killed a single person. Man, what a lucky guy. After learning the truth, Rebecca completely let her guard down. She felt great sympathy for Billy. Afterwards, the two worked together to solve many more puzzles. They lowered an observatory shaped like some kind of honeycomb. Following the new path, they continued forward. After defeating a giant bat, the two found a cable car. Just as they were about to take the cable car to escape, a wild baboon suddenly jumped out. The wild baboon used body slam. Billy's done for. He falls into the rushing water. While searching for Billy, Rebecca encounters Captain Enrico. Enrico wants her to head to the mansion from the first game with him, but Rebecca insists on finding Billy, telling the captain to go on ahead and that she'll catch up. What Rebecca doesn't know is, this will be the last time she sees the captain. Don't worry, I'll catch up soon. After the captain leaves, Rebecca prepares to take an elevator to proceed. Suddenly, a terrifying-looking monster drops down from above. This is the original Tyrant, also known as the Tyrant prototype. As the name suggests, it wasn't a very successful BOW. Its vital organs are exposed, and its intelligence is practically zero. It's just a beast, brainless and brawny. Without much trouble, Rebecca kills it, and rides the elevator down, following the water current, finally finding Billy washed up on the shore. Immediately, they discover a huge pile of rotting human skeletons. This is the evidence left behind from Marcus's human experiments years ago. Just as the two reach the exit and are about to escape, Marcus suddenly appears. He tells them his story and vows to destroy Umbrella and the whole world. He gets more and more worked up, then transforms into the Queen Leech and attacks them. As everyone knows, flashy, oversized villains are usually total pushovers. Without much trouble, the two take it down, and board an elevator to make their escape. Also, as everyone knows, final bosses usually have multiple forms. Sure enough, the Queen Leech, now in its second form, chases them up the elevator shaft. At the top, the two are forced to fight the monster again. By chance, they discover the thing is actually afraid of light. So, working together, they open a skylight. Exposed to the sunlight, the Queen Leech becomes extremely weak. Then, Rebecca tosses Billy the ultimate weapon from the first Resident Evil, a Magnum. Billy pulls the trigger and blows the Queen Leech away with one shot. Meanwhile, William activates the facility's self-destruct system, blowing the training facility to pieces. At the last moment, Rebecca and Billy manage to escape. See the stump? Does it look like? In the end, Rebecca chooses to help Billy disappear. Then, she turns and leaves to continue the story of the first game, and Billy vanishes without a trace, never to be seen again. The game ends with a shot of the mansion. The story of Resident Evil 1 is about to begin.